Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for all being here as we discuss yesterday's announcement of leadership change within our football program. Let me begin first by saying James Franklin is a tremendous man, husband, father, mentor to countless student athletes, and a good friend who has always carried himself with dignity and represented Penn State with absolute class. Beyond the wins and the accolades, James has been a trusted ambassador for this university and a friend of the Penn State community. We are all incredibly fortunate to have had James Franklin lead our football program for over a decade. And we will be forever grateful to him and his family. We wish them nothing, and I mean this, I wish them nothing but success in the next chapter of their lives. That said, at Penn State, we hold all our programs to the highest standards in our shared pursuit of excellence. My job is to evaluate everything and make hard decisions for what is in the best interest of our athletes, our program, and our department. Football is our backbone. We have invested at the highest level. With that comes high expectations. Ultimately, I believe a new leader can help us win a national championship, and now is the right time for this change. Terry Smith will serve as our interim head coach. Terry's a proud Penn Stater. He helped build this program as both a player and a coach, and he understands what it means to wear the blue and white. I am confident, and I can tell you, he will pour his heart and soul into this role, and our players and fans deserve nothing less. The search. We're going to continue to conduct a national search. Our next coach will be someone who embodies everything Penn State stands for: integrity, accountability, toughness, humility, and an elite motivator. We'll find a coach who can achieve excellence at the highest level, doing it with confidence and conviction. Recruiting will always be a pillar here. We want someone who will attract elite talent, retain players in the NIL era, and make Penn State a destination. This is also about the modern era of college football. Our next coach needs to be able to maximize elite level resources, attack the transfer portal, and develop at the highest level. This person has to fit Penn State. They need to represent the toughness, the blue-collar work ethic, and the class that defines this institution. We want someone who honors our tradition but isn't afraid to evolve. Someone who understands the weight of we are and leads us forward with a vision of championships. The right coach will rebuild the unity and pride that defines this historic program. And they will ignite this fan base around a shared belief that we're capable of greatness and we're going to do it the right way. And we are the best program in the country. We have made significant investments in this program. We compete in the best conference in the country. And we have the best fans and alums in the country. With a renovated stadium on the horizon, I have nothing but confidence in our future and in our ability to attract an elite leader for our Penn State football program. And finally, to our fans, alumni, and community, we all need each other. We all need your support. And all our focus, let me repeat, all our focus should be around the young men in Lash right now who wear the blue and white. We have a lot of football left. They deserve every ounce of our support. At that, I'll open it up for questions.
We're going to start on Zoom. Use the raise your hand feature. We're going to start with Ralph Russo and then go to Rich Scarcella.
Hey Pat, thanks for doing this. Can you get
No, I know that was gonna be the first question. Look, I'm not gonna get into the financials. What I will tell you about the buyout, this is an athletics issue. This is not the institution's issue. So we, in athletics, are covering all the costs. I just want that to be known. So we are absorbing all the costs associated with this. As it gets to structural, how it's paid, I'm not gonna get into the details of that, and I'm not gonna get into the financials either.
We'll go to Rich Scarcella, and then we'll go to Mike Rose.
Thanks, Chris. Pat, when did you reach this decision? And considering your relationship with James, how difficult was it?
Rich, I appreciate that. I'm gonna be very transparent with y'all. This was extremely, extremely difficult. It's been a very difficult 48 hours. I felt after Saturday and sitting down and looking at everything that where we were and what was in the best interest of my kids, my student athletes, and my kids, meaning you guys know I call our athletes kids, my kids, and where the program was going. At this time, we just had to make the hard decision. And look, as all of you know as leaders, when you lead an organization like this, when you've made the decision, you have to make the decision with a whole heart and with conviction. And so, I was gonna sleep on it on Sunday, and but I knew it was the right course of action for us as a program, and more importantly for the team. So that's kind of how it transpired. You take data, right? This is not a 3-game thing. This is really diving into where we were as a program. What is the trajectory of this program? And you all know, and I'm not shy to admit it, I'm here to win national championship. And I believe our fans deserve that. And I wake up every day trying to achieve that goal. So, long-winded answer, Rich. It was kind of on a Sunday. Hey, this is probably time.
We'll take 2 more from Zoom. We'll go Mike Rose and then Brandon Marcel.
Hi, Pat. Thanks for your time. I'm wondering about doing this 6 weeks into the season.
Yep.
Making it through in the middle of the season. And particularly since you used the phrase in your opening statement, rebuild the unity of pride. Had this gotten to a point where you're looking at the football program and saying, this is untenable going forward? And what led you to that conclusion other than what's on the scoreboard?
Yeah, no, I think, Mike, you're right. You when you make these types of decisions, and we make big decisions all the time. I make decisions that no one really knows about our athletes and where we're going and all that. But anything this significant just doesn't come on a whim. And you have to have scenarios in and we do. How is this going to go? What if this happened? But looking at where the program was and where it is, and where we want to be as a program, I just felt there was no other course. And I felt it was time. Now remember, we're in a different era of football. And there's a lot of things that come with this new era, transfers and everything. And so that probably was down the road in the thought process. But I did feel like for our student athletes and the staff and the program and our fans, there wasn't a choice. There wasn't more. And by the way, when you make that decision, you make the call. I have to be the leader. I have to make hard decisions. And so that's why I felt like it was appropriate.
Go Brandon Marcello, and then we'll come into the room for Mark Brennan.
Pat, thank you for doing this today. I was wondering, across college sports, we've seen buyouts and guaranteed contracts kind of exploding, and the money continues to rise. I was wondering, how will you kind of approach that when you go about looking at a new coach and hiring a new coach, especially with athletic departments across the country, and including your own, having to mind their money even more closely these days?
No, I think it's a great question, Brandon. You're right. When all these contracts were signed, the use of the money going to rev share and all the other pieces that are involved, you have to process the financials in such a different light. And so, quite honestly, when you get into a search and you start to have those hard conversations, hey, what do you envision this program? How do you envision this program looking? How do you envision winning a national championship? I mean, the facts are the facts. Like, you got to recruit at a high level. And now, the transfer portal, you got to be able to recruit in the transfer portal at a high level. And so how do you use your resources in the right way in building a roster that compete for a national championship, Brandon? I am very blessed, and this I don't have anything to do with this, I don't believe, to be the athletic director at Penn State. We are blessed because of our fans, our alums, and the support we receive, that we can do more than most, and that we have elite resources here. And so that allows us to be able to have real conversations and put our resources to the test in the best direction.
Go Mark Brennan, then we'll go Jay Trotter.
Pat, obviously recruiting ramifications from this. What are you doing personally to mitigate what's been going on, and how are you discussing with Terry and the staff how to handle the situation?
Look, none of that is surprising, right? And by the way, I mean, the recruiting world has changed. I mean, student athletes are flipping and going everywhere, and look, I'm not going to be naive. I probably know that every Power 4 conference, every Power 4 team has reached out to our student athletes already. I'm not naive to say that that's where the industry is, but what I will tell you is Terry and I talked, and one of the reasons why I was comfortable in doing this now is because of Terry. Terry's an elite recruiter. Terry has relationships with those kids, and Terry and I first, we talked about many things. That is a part of it, and we've got to continue. I think what we will show is that we're big. We're such a big and historical program that we are going to weather the storm. We have weathered far worse than this. And so I think once Terry gets settled in, now let's just talk about me, and our coaches know this. I'll talk to any recruit, whether it's fencing, football, wrestling, basketball, volleyball, I don't care. And I will continue to be very active in that process. I will say right now for me, I'm just going to be very honest, I'm less worried about 27 kids and more worried about my kids in the locker room right now. That's my focus. Terry has a great staff that he will lead to deal with the recruiting issues. None of it is surprising. But right now, I want to make sure that we're prepared to go and get after Iowa.
Jake and then Bob.
Yeah, Pat, you said this wasn't a 3-game thing, but 3 weeks ago you're in the top 5. A few months ago you're a play or two away from the national championship. So when did you first begin to think that this might be a possibility, and then how much of 1-18 versus top 10 Big Ten opponents played into it?
Yeah, and it's a good question. Like, in this role as athletic directors and CEOs, you have to be ready for anything, right? Did I expect to have to walk up those stairs yesterday at Lash Building and talk to James like I did and have that conversation? No. But we're built, or you should be built, ready to handle what adversity is coming and what you believe is the right thing for the program. I weigh everything when I make a decision. The PhD nerd in me is like, I do data, I do analytics, I look at everything. And when you start to look at where we're going, and yes, how this year had been playing out, all those things you have to take into consideration. We're all humans. James Franklin's a human being. It's a job he loved. And people can say what they want about James. But James, it's a small world we have, and we're all friends. And so you cannot make decisions of this magnitude lightly. So to say, we lost to Oregon, then we lost to UCLA. No, it's about where are we as a program? Where are we going? How do I give my student athletes the best chance to win? How do I continue to build this to a place that we are the best program in the country? That's the motivation. And so as you start to put all those things together, you got to make the call. And that's where we were.
So you were prepared, but you didn't expect to. And
You
then,
always have to be prepared. You have to be prepared for everything. And so, yeah, I mean, that's the nature of the business.
and 1-18.
All of that plays into it. Everything.
Jake, we need to move on. Bob Flounders and then Allie.
Hi, Pat.
Hey,
How are you doing?
I'm great.
I know clearly it's an emotional time for you. You referenced the fact that the athletes are your kids. And there's no question that you're always around the Penn State athletic teams, especially the football program.
Yep.
One of your kids' career came to an end at the end of this game. I was just going to ask you your thoughts on Drew Aller, his injury, what he's meant to Penn State, and to just your thoughts on what he's done.
Yeah, it's hard for me not to get emotional about that, but he's just an amazing kid. I mean, I don't know what else to say. He's been through a lot, and he is that. He's a kid, and I think to see someone who's gone through a lot at a young age, and anyone who ever doubts that young man's commitment to Penn State and Penn State football, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Sorry, I can't believe I'm getting that emotional, but Drew's one hell of a young man. And he puts up with a lot of crap. And I get it. The NIL era, he's still a kid. And I can't have there's not a negative word that comes up when I think of Drew. I apologize. But you gotta understand, these kids work so hard, and they love Penn State so much. And I get to see them in a different way than you all do. I get to see them as, like I said, my children. And so much bigger than like how many touchdowns you throw. I get it. Like, look, I'm not trying to like lie to y'all. Like, we all know we're gonna win. He wants to win in the worst way. He's working his hardest to do that. And to see it end that way, you never want that. No matter the outcome of the games, I want every one of our athletes to finish everything they start in life and in games. And he's going to be an incredible pro football player. He's going to be an incredible ambassador for this program. And I got to be honest, the fact that he's stuck with us is pretty awesome. And I tell all our kids every time, I'm going to have their back every second of the day. And I will never stop doing that. He's faced a lot of adversity here. And I love the kid. And I love him. And he'll be great for us right now. He's going to be great for Grunk and giving him, I mean, he works hard. He's a smart football player. And he has an incredibly bright future playing ball at the highest level. And sorry, yeah, that's my take on Drew.
Last two, Allie Berube, and then we'll go to Tyler.
Hey Pat, you talked about
Oh.
weathering the storm, and this isn't the worst one that Penn State has endured, but the fan base was pretty divided both before the announcement of firing James Franklin and after. How does this fan base come back together when it feels like it's at a fever pitch, all of the noise outside of what's going on?
I think we got to be steady. I think we have been built. We'll look at. I'm not. Penn State's built for stuff like this. We have to come together. That is the unity. We are a strong force. We're the most powerful department and university in the country. We stick together through this. It's okay. I don't know about your family, but my family argues all the time. I had my two brothers in this, and that happens. But we're going to do it with, I would hope, with class and dignity, and get around one simple thing. The young men in that locker room. You can hate me, you can hate James, but like Drew, rally around them. They deserve it. That's who Penn State is. That's who we are, and I believe in my heart of hearts that will continue to be what drives us to where we're going to end up.
Last question to Tyler Donahue.
Hey, Pat, we appreciate the transparency this morning.
Yeah.
Back here.
Sorry.
You mentioned Terry Smith and what he brings to this role. You mentioned the national search for the next coach. Could those two things become intertwined? Is Terry Smith going to be under consideration to become the next full-time head coach at Penn State?
Absolutely. Everybody's under consideration. And I'm going to help Terry do everything he can to run the table. But yes, he will be considered a candidate.
Thank you very much,
I
Pat.
appreciate you.
Thank you for checking out this content from Post-Gazette Sports. If you watch this video on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. For all of the sports coverage the Post-Gazette has to offer, visit post-gazette.com.